Hello, and welcome to Nerds and Stuff. My name is Martin, and we are returning back to our Urban Shadows campaign, Friends Like These. Before we get back into it, I'm going to remind everyone that this campaign features adult language. We are adults. It will feature adult content, and so consider this your warning. Before we get back into the campaign, I'm going to have each one of my characters introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Sterling, and I'm playing Calvin Miles, the Wizard.
I'm Daniel. I'm playing Oliver Silver, our vamp.
I'm Junior. I'm playing Jake Gordon, the Tainted.
Perfect. Let's get back to it. Opens in Calvin's disheveled apartment. His cell phone, there's a tight shot of his cell phone on the night table, and it vibrates. A little ding icon comes up. Calvin kind of shoots up, looking around frantically, still a little drunk from last night, because weren't you drinking a little bit?
You drank a little bit.
Yeah, okay, so probably not drunk, but definitely tired.
Yeah.
You didn't make it home until at least like 3 or 4 a.m. You're not entirely sure what time it is. The sun's up, but it's very gloomy and overcast outside, looking out your window. It's morning, so that's good. Mm-hmm. You're kind of looking around, and you hear footsteps walking around outside of your bedroom, which you immediately recognize to be your daughter, and quite possibly her friends are still over from the night before. You look at your phone to see what time it is, and you see you have a notification of a new message. You flip it open, and you have a message from Trent. The message from Trent basically says, have the information to me by tonight at midnight, and no one gets hurt. And then as you're like, you kind of set your phone down. You were having such a good sleep, as short as it was.
Yeah.
But then you hear from beyond the door, Daddy, there's no groceries in the fridge. What am I supposed to have, ketchup and ranch for breakfast? What the fuck? You said you were going grocery shopping this week. She's calling out, and you kind of hear snickers in the background.
I just kind of like go through my wallet real quick.
Okay.
And I pull out like $50.
Yep,
and
so
I just like...
As you open your wallet, the first thing the camera sees is a spot where your ID should be. Mm-hmm. Not there, right? Then you just kind of sigh again, pull out $50.
Pull out $50 and hand it to, I open the door and hand it to Jess.
Okay.
And, here, why don't you go get us something for breakfast?
Are you serious? I don't even have my car here. It's still at the club.
You went to a club last night.
I mean, I was out with my friends. No, well, it's...
Well, shit.
Thanks, Daddy. $50. Covered. Good. Well played, sir. All right. Yeah. So you kind of shut the door. A reminder of the night before as well. Mm-hmm. The entire weekend coming to a crash on top of you. Yeah. So your phone actually lights up with an email as well. Bling, and it comes in as a priority email. And it's from S. Patterson.
Do I know an S. Patterson?
You sure do. Her first name is Susan.
Oh, okay. I open it up then.
Okay. She tells you that the council met yesterday, and they have a lot of stuff happening, and she needs your help on one of the things that the council is working on.
I just send a quick reply back, and I'm like, great, yeah, sure thing. This weekend's not so good for me though. If it can wait till next week.
Are you emailing or texting?
Emailing it back to her.
Okay.
So.
Deal. So this weekend's not so great?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you type in the us too?
I do.
Yeah, so you kind of get ready for the day. You hear your daughter, and she calls out. She goes, "Daddy, what kind of pizza do you want?"
Whatever, just meat, cheese, lots of sauce.
Okay, whatever. Right, so you're kind of getting ready for the day. We're going to cut over to Jake's. So the camera opens in a small apartment, right? It's probably part of a building.
Yep.
And it's a very simple setup. There's a couch with a blanket draped over Jake. He was sleeping pretty hard. And there's this noise that kind of wakes him up real quick. Kind of looks around, and you kind of rub in your head, and you pull back a hand just full of sweat. You were having a terrible nightmare from what you remember. A nightmare where you were trapped in your own body, but it was twisted and dark. And it was ripping through these forms, cutting through them with a fiery sword. And at the tail end of the dream, you grabbed hold of someone, ripped like a limb off or something, and then took a huge bite out of their neck or their face or their torso or something. And you just woke up in the moment where you're like ripping this person to pieces. And you kind of wake up with a scream a little bit. You look around, and it's dark in your apartment. You have your blackout curtains pulled shut. And so you kind of rubbing your head, wiping the sweat off, looking around. You flip open your phone, give yourself some light. Turn on the TV. Sunday morning bullshit's on. And you're kind of, yep. And you just kind of sit up. You put your head in your hands, and you're looking down. Just like trying to clear this nightmare out of your head. Trying to clear the nightmare of your reality out of your head. And you look down, and there's fey blood on your pants. Now, luckily, fey blood is a little bit darker. It has a little green into it, so it could just look like antifreeze or I don't know, something. It's not. It doesn't look like blood, but
mechanical almost.
Something. I mean, and you immediately like remember fey blood, and you remember the night before, and you're like, "Fuck, did Anna or Sarah see?" Because if they did, there's a lot more questions you got to answer. You listen. And besides the sound of raining, you hear cartoons blaring in Sarah's room. And you realize that Anna's probably in with Sarah watching cartoons on the bed. And so you have a couple moments to kind of collect yourself. You remember that you have like a not so dirty pair of pants in the laundry hamper. Right.
So it's like mid-morning, right?
Yeah, so it's probably early morning, about 10 a.m. or so.
And you're in the living room by the front door, right?
Yep.
You hear a knock on the door.
Yeah.
Great. All right, so I get up and kind of try to, brush a little bit of the fey blood off. And
yeah. You kind of hear the door to the bedroom open, and Sarah peeks her head out. Is someone here?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll look at it.
Okay. Shuts the door.
And I'll run over.
It's Robbie. And so, he's got a big box for you.
So let's talk about Robbie in the daylight once again.
Right.
He's a little bit strung out. He's a very gaunt, tall. Maybe not tall. He's gaunt. He's about mid-height, about 5'8" or so. He has tattoos on his arms. He looks like a thug almost, but very much almost like a meth addict. I mean, he's pale.
Right.
He's just standing in the
hollow eyes.
Seems like valet hat, but the rain is just pouring down on his suit.
And I've seen him in this form before.
Yeah, he drove you guys the other night.
This is what he looks like when he's not near.
Okay.
This is how he is outside of the house. Yeah.
Hey, Robbie.
Hello. Sorry. Do you want to just play Robbie?
No, you got this.
Okay, because I really don't know what Robbie's here for.
He's just got a big box from Oliver.
Oh, okay.
With a letter on top.
And so he kind of
doesn't say nothing.
Doesn't say anything. Just hands it to you.
Okay. What's this?
See you, friend.
Thanks. I'll just kind of back up.
Yeah, the door hits his foot.
It's like, yeah, can I help you? All right, I'll look at what he's doing, and
he's looking at the box very excitedly.
All right, I'll set it down and open it. I'm assuming is it like a fold-up box, or is it like a box like lift up?
It's like a big box you can just lift up, kind of like an upside-down gift box, if that makes sense,
right.
where they have
so that's
normally take the lid off.
So what's inside?
It's kind of a big plastic kid's dollhouse.
Okay. I'm like, wow. Thanks. Then I kind of push.
Yeah, his foot's still like over the door threshold, so every time you go to shut the door, it just hits his boot.
Can you move your foot?
He moves his other foot back a little bit.
He just didn't even know it was there.
How about the other one?
Steps back.
Thanks.
Door shuts. Camera holds on Robbie outside for a moment, and then it cuts back in.
I'm just like, no, put the lid back on the box.
Yeah. So Sarah hears the door close. She kind of opens. She goes, "Who was that?"
Just a friend. Don't worry, I'm gonna make breakfast in a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
And then there's a note.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll grab the note.
You just fold it out, and it's just written in my hand. It just says, Jake, thanks for getting me home last night. Hope this helps smooth things over. Oliver.
Okay. Kind of crumple it up and put it in one of my pockets.
Okay.
Then I'll take the box and set it kind of by the couch, and then run.
Do you like hide it back under the box?
Yeah, so it's in the box again. Yeah,
Okay.
it's still in the box again. And then kind of quietly run over and try to change my pants.
Yeah. Swap your pants. Start cooking breakfast.
And then head back for breakfast. And once we get kind of breakfast halfway done, I'll Sarah.
Okay.
Anna.
We'll cut back to the thing. Okay. So. Do you want to go, or are you still sleeping?
No,
because you were high last night. Yeah,
I woke up, wrote a letter, sent Robbie on an errand, and went back to sleep.
Yeah, you're gonna have a good night's rest on that. So we cut back to Calvin, and he's looking at a new email that says, "I'm sorry that this weekend is not good for you, but this isn't really a matter that we can waste time on. Please meet me for lunch at 1 p.m. at." Let's look at our list of city locations.
It's his diner he made up, right?
Pints?
The diner. Pete's.
Oh, that's Pete's.
That might be where you go for lunch.
Yeah, because I was going to say, we could do the Soccer and Noodle House.
Well, isn't that just kind of
That's
a
just like-
neighborhood
Yeah, that's by my place.
junk
Yeah,
place?
okay. Yeah, so we'll go to Paul's Diner.
Yeah, it's Paul.
Paul's.
Yeah, so we'll go to meet at noon at Paul's Diner. Or 1 p.m., sorry. 1 p.m. at Paul's Diner.
I'm like, don't.
And it says, it's like, the email just ends with, thanks, see you there. We'll talk
Your
soon.
calendar?
Yeah. It's already added.
Yeah.
Because it's a high priority contact, yeah.
Just like, I guess I'm going to lunch.
Perfect. And like, right as you're like, I guess I'm going to lunch, the pizza guy knocks on the door.
I opened the room to my bedroom at this point. I'm like, why did you order pizza at 10 o'clock in the morning?
Why wouldn't I? It's not like we have groceries here. By the way, Dad.
No, I'm not mad. I'm impressed. I thought pizza places didn't open till noon usually.
This is a 24-hour one. We're in a city, Dad. It's very modern.
Well, write the number down and put it on the fridge for me.
Yes. By the way, Reese's are not a breakfast cereal. Okay? And even if they were, there's no milk for them, okay? Sorry, that's a throwback joke.
Sometimes I just like to eat them by the handful. They're a great snack.
All right. Okay. So you guys are eating. You have an appointment at 1. We're gonna cut back to your breakfast.
Okay, so we'll get the breakfast, just the very basic, stuff I can handle cooking.
Yeah.
Pancakes, After I get about halfway done, I'll yell, Anna, Sarah, come sit down. Let's have some breakfast.
Yeah. Well, we can just get to the good stuff, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So after we get done,
as much as they might love foreplay, so let's get a little bit to the sex. Yeah.
Okay. So
maybe just a little finger blasting, right?
Just a little.
Right now we're heavy petting.
Jake doesn't get there in time for the sex.
No. And when we do, his scene's usually over before it starts.
Oh, poor Jake.
So
Just a simple man.
After breakfast, I'll let Anna know. But Anna,
it was kind of hidden behind the couch.
Yeah.
So she kind of looks at the box and goes, "What is that?"
It's for you, honey. Go ahead, open it up.
She kind of goes over to it. It's probably like almost as tall as her, right? Because it's a bigger. It's a bigger box. Yeah,
like the size of a fireplace, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. So she kind of tries to lift it, and then she has to like hoist it, and so she takes the box. And, what?
Yeah, it's for you, hon.
Jake, how? It's. She's just overwhelmed with excitement, and Sarah looks at you and she goes, "Where did you get this?"
Honey, let her have her moment. We'll talk in a minute.
She's already having a moment. She's running circles. She's trying to rip the box apart, trying to get it out, having a blast with it. She races over, grabs you by your legs, and just hugs you tightly.
And Sarah's... Go play.
How much was that?
Don't worry, honey. It's,
don't worry.
No.
We can't even afford rent this month.
I know. I helped a friend out, and he gave me this, so...
Maybe next time he could give us money instead.
I know, I'm
Jake,
trying.
we need... You don't get it, okay? I'm working 2 jobs, and you're working weekends. We need money.
I'm trying, honey, trying. Okay?
Last time you told me that a friend gave you something for free, I found the receipt for it.
This time it's for real, and I'll pull up
She looks at you and goes, "This looks like you wrote this with your other hand."
Hey now.
Look, honey, alright, I'm trying. And I'm being honest with you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Thank you.
Let's just have a nice moment.
As the camera kind of focus rolls past you to
just
Anna,
kind of looking
just
at each other too,
having a blast with this dollhouse, already like dragging it back to her room. Yeah. Perfect. So we're gonna cut to later in the day. I think we're gonna cut to lunch.
Okay.
Yeah. So you walk into Paul's Diner. Let's take a look at the sheet here. It's an old diner, kind of hole in the wall. The kind of hash browns that just make your chest hurt. You know,
It's good stuff.
Good American dining for sure. It needs a remodel, but doesn't make enough to get one, right? I mean, the booths are kind of flat, like either 1,000 people have sat there, or like 100 really fat people have sat there. Right? Right? It's a small diner, just a few booth tables, a long bar with attached chairs on one side. And you immediately see one of the waitresses that you know fairly well. Her name is Susan, and she's definitely middle-aged. She's a little bit older. She's probably about 45, 50. She kind of has a little bit slight graying in her hair. She has like a blonde, red sort of strawberry blonde kind of hair color. And so you walk in, and she's like, "Do you need some coffee, Calvin, before we sit down?"
I could always use a cup, love.
Okay, so she comes back. Just help yourself. Sit in where you want.
I go and pull up a seat at the bar.
Yep. Yeah. So she comes by, pours you a cup of coffee, and then kind of stands, kind of looking around, making sure nobody else is kind of listening. She goes, "Are you ready to order yet, or did you need a couple more minutes?"
Well, I actually already ate, but how about a slice of that pie?
Yeah, of course. And I'm assuming it's like a pie of the day or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Calvin
she comes.
lives a great life. Hot pizza for breakfast.
Yeah.
Pie for lunch.
Yeah. Calvin's gonna end up in an early
He's
grade.
gonna have noodles for dinner again.
Yeah. So she comes back with a slice of pie, and she kind of hangs out across from the counter from you, and she says, "We met yesterday, the council, and so just to give a little bit of background, Susan owes you a debt."
She does.
Because you're keeping a secret for her. The secret is that she is one of 7 members on the Council of the Aware.
Okay.
Which is also known as...
This is your aunt, right?
It's your
Yeah.
Jesus. And you're a dock worker?
Yep.
So she is one of the 7 of the New Salem Restoration Group. And she works at a diner essentially to hold her cover, right? To have the appearance of salt of the earth, low functioning, stuff like that. So she basically informs you that, and you know that the Restoration Group, the New Salem Restoration Group, meets about once a month to dispute claims between the factions, to make sure that no one faction is getting too powerful to upset the balance in New Salem, right? As much as they have political influence, they don't. The Aware is very much a peaceful group. They use their political power to have other factions who have a little bit more muscle flex for them. And so she basically lets you know, she says, "The zealots are getting a little too zealous. they're recruiting for some imaginary war, and they're going about it in a very poor fashion, which is creating a lot of people like Griff over there to become a little bit more like me over here. Do you understand?
You got some religious group going around doing stuff for you?
Calvin, I know you're intellectual. Okay, just listen, because I'm presently working. I can't really sit down and talk about this as much. You know that really zealous group around town that likes to take to the streets when people are getting a little too ambitious?
The Mormons?
Yeah, we'll call them Mormons. Well, the Mormons are going about they're recruiting heavily, and not in the fashion that makes the most sense for the non-Mormons.
Okay, I follow.
So, we're going to need your help dealing with the Mormons.
Well, that's where I have a little bit of a problem, love. You see, I've already got a lot on my plate.
Oh dear, don't tell me you're Mormon.
No. But, you see, my daughter's in town this weekend. I got her at my place. Plus, I'm dealing with, there's a lot of dogs causing problems as well.
Yes, I've heard a bit about this canine problem.
Yeah, and for some reason I've been put on patrol to find out why there's some bats
You're such
going around.
You're such a man of the community, and that's why it's very important for you to look into this for us.
What's important is if people would just leave me alone. But that doesn't seem to happen, does it?
Yes, well, as you might remember, the dean of your division is one of my colleagues, and he's the one that sees to it that as politely as possible, your inability to conduct your job remains your job for your assistance with the Restoration Group.
I mean, that's fair enough, but I don't know why you think I can help on this. I don't know any of the Mormons.
Perhaps there are other ways to go about this. I need you to talk to some of the other religious factions around town to ensure that they speak with the Mormons and make sure that the Mormons understand what's really happening and that this end of days crusade is not upon us. Surely you have sway with other religious groups around town.
Less than you'd think.
I'm sure you'll figure it out. She reaches down and hands you your bill for the pie and the coffee.
Kind of salty that she called me here, put me to work, and still charges me for this. Plus, she owes me already.
That she does.
What is so funny is that wizards are supposed to be like continuously vying for political power. Calvin is so fucking busy, he can't even like go grocery shopping. Forget vying for political power or taking over shit.
He can't even pay his power bill.
That's how little power he has.
Yeah, so then as she kind of hands you the bill and she goes, if you do this, you will be in the group's favor and the city's favor. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Great, I'll just add that to my to-do list as well.
She's walking away. I'm sorry, did you say something?
I said great, I'll just add that to my to-do list as well.
Sounds good.
Do you leave her a tip?
It's a very small tip.
Yeah, it's like 001. You leave her a penny. Yeah.
No, I'm not that big of a jerk, but especially when I magically create
You just
some
write
money.
in the tip line. You just write K.
Okay.
Lowercase K. Yeah. Yeah. So you pay and you bounce. Yeah. So let's.
Mid afternoon.
Okay.
Calvin gets a text
Deal.
from Oliver inviting you to dinner at Marco's.
Gosh.
And I say, it's my treat.
I don't know if I really have time, mate. I mean, do you have any more answers for me about the wolves and vamps going on or anything?
A text message is not the best place for this. I'll see you at Marco's.
Alright, we cut back to Calvin getting back to his house. The other girls have left. It's just your daughter, and you get back, and she has headphones in. She's listening to music, and when you walk in, you look like you've already had a day, and it's like 2 p.m. You know, it's like maybe 2:30, and she kind of takes an earbud out, and she goes, "Is everything okay?"
He just like plops down in like his lazy boy.
He's got his chair. I can tell
he's
Calvin.
got his chair.
Calvin has like his sanctum, and outside of his sanctum, in his apartment, there's a chair.
Which is more sacred than his
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a mid-70s lazy boy too, so it's like super squeaky and the one that kicks up super quick.
But it's comfortable. It's comfortable as hell. Yeah.
It's worn out to the point where it's not comfortable, but it's conformed to his body, which is why no one else sits on it.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so you just plop down into your chair, and is everything okay?
Oh, it's fine. Just, how are you?
I've got a lot of homework, and I was kind of hoping you might be able to help me.
Sure, I probably have a little bit of time I could help. What's the issue? What class you studying for?
It's math. You know how much I hate math.
Yeah, but you're good at it.
Yeah, you keep saying that, but that doesn't make me like it anymore.
Hey, I don't necessarily like history, but I'm good at it. It became my job.
Are you insinuating that I should get a job in math?
Oh,
I'd rather die than get a job in like math.
No, just what you need to do is find some rich guy and marry him, and just let him pay for everything.
Like Mom did?
But don't.
Wait, your mom's seeing someone? He's got a mini fridge within arm reach of his like lazy boy, and he just like pulls out a beer and like, it's gonna be a day.
2 o'clock.
5 o'clock on a rainy Sunday. All right. Yeah. So what's Jake doing for the rest of his day? Till later.
Probably just hanging out, just watching Anna play with her toy and just cuddling, I guess, with Sarah, trying to make it better, you know.
Deal. Yeah. So as you're kind of hanging out, you get a message from a phone number that you haven't heard from in a long, long time. It's a friend or an acquaintance that you know. You just have him in your phone as Vincenz, and he sends you a text, and he says, "Any chance we could meet up for dinner tonight?" My treat.
Of course. Yeah, what's this about?
He writes you back. He goes, "I have very exciting news, and I'd like to invite you to be a part of something very important to me." He basically, he has a debt over you, correct?
Right.
Okay. And he says, yeah, so he just says, "I have very important news. I'd like for you to join me on this new adventure," so to speak. Yeah.
Time and place.
Yeah, he tells you Marco's, 7 p.m.
Okay. That
Perfect. Sounds good. Okay, can we just cut to Marco's then? Is that exciting for everybody? Okay. All right. Yeah, so the rest of the day goes okay. You probably go back and forth with your daughter a little bit, trying to get details on your ex-wife's new boyfriend. Or husband. Not entirely sure, because I didn't mean to say like what Mom did. Like what Mom is doing is more the case. Yeah. So so let's cut to Marco's. Right. You guys are meeting up for dinner, and we'll say that you guys decided to meet up at 7:15 or something. Slightly after they're already there.
This is a really swank place. I mean, it's really nice. It's very much like a very high-end steakhouse.
Okay.
So I've kind of got a table in the back where Marco seats some of his more special customers.
Yep. So how do you know Marco?
I've been coming to Marco's for about 20 years now.
Okay. And Marco's is a supernatural kind of
Marco
place.
himself, he's the namesake, the owner. Marco was a tainted. I haven't figured out the whole story from him. You know, he's a very guarded person about that sort of past, but for whatever reason, he made a deal with someone. And after he fulfilled his obligations, he wanted to still be involved with the community, so to speak. So he opened this restaurant so that he could still rub shoulders with the people he had been for so long.
Deal. And what sub-faction or archetype did you say it was again?
Tainted.
Okay, perfect. So, you guys, you meet up at the front, like a host takes you back, sits you down, and like you're almost breaking your neck looking at Jake in the VIP section back here with you at a different table, and he has his back to someone else. Or the person that he's sitting across from has his back to you, and you guys don't recognize him handily. But Jake cannot afford this place.
No.
Even if he
can't even afford the clothes to get into this
even
place.
if he got like a payday loan, he would not even be in the other half of the restaurant.
Calvin, how have you been?
Oh, just dealing with my approaching end of life.
Well, that can really sit poorly with a fellow.
It tends to, yeah.
I wanted to thank you for last night, for getting me home. Please, anything you like. This dinner is on me.
What do I see as I look on the menu?
You open the menu and there's like lobster tail for $50 and like sirloin for $45. I mean, this is a very expensive,
There's
classy.
a very nice wine list inside too.
Yeah,
Calvin orders a cheeseburger.
The meal.
They probably don't even have cheeseburgers.
Yeah, like the chef's special is like a 3 or 4 course meal that's like $105. And you order a cheeseburger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm getting the chef special.
It's like a snobby cheeseburger too. It's like blue cheese, bacon bit, like yeah.
I ask for like almost everything, like all of that special stuff like off of it. So it's literally just like burger, cheese, pickles, ketchup, mustard.
Yeah.
And the chef is just pissed.
from the distance you hear "Sacre bleu." Sorry.
Who is this terrible person?
Table 15. Oh, yeah.
He sees like a shitty cheeseburger and then like the chef's special.
Yeah.
It really pisses him off too because it's still like $20.
Yeah. And when it comes out, it has like a whole bunch of garnish around it, and like just fancy. It's the fanciest burger you've ever seen. Mm-hmm. You're just like.
He tried his best, but I mean, when someone just wants a shitty burger.
Yeah.
So, Calvin, I want to make sure you don't have the wrong idea about me. We seem to have gotten off on a little bit of a rocky start.
Calvin's hand is on his gun in his pocket. Sorry.
It almost is though. Like he's not comfortable here.
This is not only physically out of his element, right, with this very romantic atmosphere restaurant with a vampire sitting across from him, but you're still not entirely sure of
I'm
Oliver.
doing my best with my pheromones to make him feel calm.
Okay.
What did you say again to him?
Just make sure you don't have the wrong idea about me.
What, that you're not a blood-sucking bottom feeder?
I flash my fangs at you, and I'm just like, Calvin, that's not how friends talk.
It might not be how friends talk, but I never said you were my friend, mate. Even though I called you mate.
That hurts me, Calvin, because I thought of us as very good friends, considering everything we've been through in the last couple of days.
Well, then I guess, to let me use your words against you, I hope you didn't get the wrong impression of me.
Well, there's the thing. I've never really been good friends with wizards. The kinds of things they can do are very unsettling.
Oh, we're gonna smash cut to the other table. So Jake and Vincenz are finishing their meal, and kind of Vincenz wipes his mouth off. He's a very young. He's about mid-30s, but he looks much younger. He's very suave, he's very charismatic, he's very handsome. He dresses immaculately well. Business suit, very expensive and very subtle tie.
Right.
He definitely has a power about him, but he also has a charisma, and people just gravitate towards him. That's the one thing that you've noticed from the couple times you've met him. And he kind of wipes his mouth and he sets his napkin down and he says, "Shall we talk business?
Let's.
Jake, you're a man who can get things done. You don't really realize your potential, I think. And I would very much like to help you realize that potential. Now, you helped me out." Wait, you owe him a debt.
I owe him a debt.
Yeah, so as you might remember, I helped you out was it 2 years back? You were about to get fired from the docks, and I pulled what few strings I had back then to make sure you kept your job. It's important to have friends in all aspects of the city, especially now more than ever. Jake, I'm not gonna skirt around with you anymore. You know that I'm a wizard.
I do.
I have interesting news. The fates have seemed to align to put me in a position to where I'm going to run for mayor. And I would like for you to help me in ways. I'm not asking you to campaign call for me or anything like that, but from time to time, I might make use of your abilities and the abilities that you have deep within you. Unlock that full potential, as we were saying. I know that you work with and for powerful people. And for me, there's a lot of good I want to do in this city. Right now, this city has a festered core. The city it has a cancer eating away at the inside. It is my vision to use my influence, to use my friends to help rid the cancer of the city and bring New Salem into the next century.
I like what you're selling.
Perfect. Shall we get dessert then?
Yes.
We're going to cut back to your table.
There's something I want to share with you, and maybe this will help you understand where I come from. Being like me is not a pleasant life. When you tend to live to an incredible age, you suffer incredible loss. I've seen death, countless, die. I can see that you've suffered some loss too.
You could say that.
Essentially, Kelvin, I want us to become good friends. I think we have a lot we could offer each other.
Calvin, your phone vibrates in your pocket. A text message.
I pull it out and look at it.
Okay. It's from Trent. It says tick-tock, tick-tock.
Tell you what, mate, you want to be good friends? Then maybe you can help me with something. Like you said you were going to do the other night and still haven't. I need information. This city's a ticking time bomb. Shit's about to hit the fan.
So we're going to smash cut to the other table, and Vincent's looking at you. You guys are having cheesecake, delicious cheesecake.
I'm just
and
like-
he looks at you and goes, "This city is a ticking time bomb. It's only a matter of time before these factions, these supernatural beings, get too ambitious for their own good. Okay, we've got werewolves pitting against each other. We've got vampires getting ready to make a move of sorts. We've got the Feywild in civil war. The city is a dangerous place. You know that as much as anyone. It's time for us to put these petty squabbles aside if we work together, we can elevate New Salem, not just the wizards. I know you might be suspicious of me. I'm not... Let's put it this way. Some people see me as a rock star in the wizard community, but I do not see it as factions. I do not see it as the wizards stand to gain from this. I'm reaching out to my friends, and what I need from you, my friend, is to make as many friends as you can, and not just friends with your obligations. I need you to reach out to other factions. We are going to spin a web, so that way when eventually I do become mayor of the city, we will have so many people in place that we'll be able to make changes day one. Cut back to your table.
I'm just going to kind of narrow my eyes and just size you up. And I'd like to figure him out.
Deal? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the first time we're using Figure It Out. If not the first time in the campaign. The first
I used
time
it last
today.
time I failed it,
Yeah,
though.
so we're using it. Like I said before, we are still learning this game as we play, so we're going to check out Figure It Out real quick. Sorry, go ahead and read what it says on the cheat sheet.
Right, when you try to figure someone out, roll with mind. On a hit, hold 2. On a 7 through 9, they hold 1 against you as well. While you're interacting with them, spend your hold 1 for 1 to ask their player a question.
Deal. So
And
go
then I've
ahead.
got a list of questions.
Yep, go ahead and roll with mind.
I miss.
Okay. So you are not part of the same faction, so you completely miss. So now you notice as he's like squinting his eyes, you can almost feel his supernatural tendrils kind of coming out. Mm-hmm. And you can almost feel his it almost feels like he's trying to use some sort of charm on you, and you're immediately you take it almost as somewhat aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like he's trying to manipulate you.
Right.
City's a ticking time bomb.
City's a ticking time bomb.
And he just kind of squints his eyes at you. What do you do?
Look, I've got werewolves breathing down my throat. They're causing problems with the vampires. Your friends' lives are at stake by midnight tonight, it feels like. I've got, I think, wizards helping the wolves somehow, or maybe they're the ones pulling the strings all together, messing everything up. Plus, then I've got a bunch of hunters going around telling every Joe Blogs in the city that vampires and werewolves and ghosts and goblins all exist. And people are asking me to go around and settle things.
Okay, we're going to cut back to this table real quick. Vincenz turns to you and he says, I've got a friend of mine working on a very precarious situation. Her name is Aurora Vex. You know her, I believe.
I know Aurora. And I'm stuffing my face. And can I have another piece?
Yes, of course. Waiter, another slice of the cheesecake for this man. And you guys kind of are catching on a little bit more, but you guys are heated in your own distraction, or in your own conversation. Aurora is working with the wolves in the northeast corner of the city. She has an idea to solidify the pack aligned with me. There are serious things happening right now. Do you have anyone, a friend perhaps, that might be able to negotiate a tense situation?
Yeah, I got it. I'm stuffing.
Perfect.
Got it. I'm kind of paying more attention to the cake.
Cut back to your table.
Yes, I'm well aware of some of these issues taking place. But Calvin, I need to know, what side of this issue with the wolves are you on? You mentioned yourselves the wizards seem to be interfering.
I'm on nobody's sides but my own. My life and my family are at stake. That's the only thing I care about.
The closest thing I have to family is at stake too.
So then perhaps we can make a deal. But I need information, and I need it by midnight. What are the vampires doing?
Right
The
now,
wolves believe they're going against them.
right now, the vampires are trying to defend themselves. The wolves have been going around picking up vampires. Where they're taking them, they haven't been able to know. They've been trying to find out, and just like we did the other day, seem to be getting blocked at every turn.
So now, mechanical point of information, you don't actually have true information on what the vampires are doing. You tried to hit the streets before, but were unsuccessful to truly find out what the vampires were planning.
Right, so I'm
you're
just telling
speaking
you
in
what I know
generalities,
now.
yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was clear mechanical-wise. Yeah. So essentially, for the sake of the story, he's going to give you very vague information that you may or may not feel is appropriate for Trent
Right.
to meet that midnight deadline. Sorry.
I know that the vampires are getting very upset. We don't like it when people abduct us, take us where we don't belong, and especially when those dogs make an effort to stake out more territory. I don't know what they're planning, but Calvin, I've got to be honest with you. Something's coming. These vampires aren't going to tolerate it for long. This city is a delicate ecosystem. It really is. When one group tends to grow too strong, then it upsets the balance. And at this point, I've got a steak knife between my fingers, balancing it. One faction goes too far, and I start to tilt the blade tip down. And it upsets the entire apple cart, and the knife falls and just sticks into the table.
And then the camera cuts back to the other, and we both kind of look over your shoulder, and this is where you realize Oliver and Calvin are here, because you probably missed them on their way in. And so at this point, Vincenz thanks you for everything and your discretion in this matter. He'll be reaching out to you soon and quite often, as much as there's as much work as needs to be done.
I'll thank him for dinner, and we'll be waiting for the call.
It was such a pleasure to see you again, Jake. I look forward to working with you in the future. Perhaps, do you have information to get a hold of Aurora?
I do.
Perfect. Then the sooner you can see to that situation, the sooner we shall continue with our initiatives.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Have a good night. And then he gets up and he walks away.
Thank you.
This balance is being upset. We don't want to upset it. When the balance is where it belongs, everyone is happy.
That's the whole point, mate. The balance is already upset. Things are tilting. Plates are crashing to the ground. So what are we gonna do to fix it?
I have been consulting what sources I have left who haven't been abducted or otherwise harmed, and the best information I've got is what we found the other night. It's in the northeast. Can you do something with your magic? Maybe refine your tracker?
So we're gonna cut. Jake is gonna kind of get up and kind of wander over to the table just to say hi real quick, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey guys.
Jake! How nice to see you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
And in such a place as this, no less.
Well, got a free meal ticket, had to take it.
I reach over and I just put my hand on his arm. How was your morning?
Oh, great, thank you. I did receive the gift.
Good. Robbie was very excited to come see you.
Yes, Robbie's quite a character.
He won't shut up about you.
I can imagine. Calvin, how you doing?
Peachy Keen, mate.
Well, it sounds like you guys are having a serious conversation. Should I leave you to it?
So super quick, I'm going to say that you are in a position to kind of get a glance if you wanted to sort of put a face to a name of who you're speaking
I would love
with.
to put a face to a name on that.
Yeah, so he was with your own faction.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have a 0 on power.
Okay. So he is putting a face to a name. When you put a face to a name or vice versa, roll with their faction. On a hit, you know their reputation.
I hit an 11.
Perfect. On a 10 plus, you've dealt with them before.
And do I mark that faction?
You do. Learn something about them, useful, or they owe you a debt.
Ooh. He's kind of a prominent person, right?
He is a up-and-comer.
Okay.
So he is...
Could I also attempt? Because
I'm gonna say that your back was to him.
Okay.
Yeah, when he got up and left.
Unless
you guys are sitting on the same side of the booth.
Maybe.
Not awkward at all.
All right, I'm gonna need a.
Yeah, I'm gonna to say that I've probably dealt with them before.
Okay. And so you not only know their reputation, but you've dealt with them before. And... No, that's already a thing. Learn something interesting and useful about them, or they owe you a debt. Which of those two?
Learn something interesting about them.
Okay. So we will say that you've met Vincenz before. He struck you as a very powerful wizard. He reminds you of a younger you when you were more ambitious years back. The thing that you know about him is that he is not from here. Nobody seems to know where he's from, but he recently arrived on the scene and he's been stirring up things for the wizard faction quite a bit. He is very likely to be the future of the leadership for that faction.
Okay. So Jake, why were you meeting with Vincenz?
You know his name.
Oh, you know Vincenz? Good old Vince?
Just about everyone in the city knows Vincenz, it seems.
True.
Why are you meeting with Vincenz?
You know, just hatching plans, talking. Nothing serious.
Just scheming
Hatching
over steak
plans?
dinner.
What plans does Jake have?
You know, just old favors. Meeting up.
I'd have to tell you, mate, be careful. He's, unfortunately, he's a mover and a shaker within the wizard community. And unfortunately, bad things tend to happen to movers and shakers. Stay far away if I were you.
Well, I appreciate that, Kel.
It's funny because you actually thought of Calvin as the man that you might be perfect for the job that Vincenz tasked you with.
I'm kind of an oh shit moment.
I think this is the perfect time for the story for you to counter with a job offer.
Be like, well, actually, I wanted to see if we could talk a little business about Vincenz. He has a proposal to me that I think you might be interested in.
I kind of snap my fingers up in the air and wave over.
Yeah, so the waiter comes over quickly.
Can you fetch us another chair, please?
Of course. Could you care for anything to drink?
Sure. Probably just beer. Or
one beer.
We only have a wine selection.
Just bring me whatever. A wine.
He kind of defers
Jake,
to you.
Dry or wet?
I don't know what that means.
Wet? Alright, he just kind of defers to you. You give him a specific type of wine. He comes back with a chair and a glass of wine for you. And you're doing this like awkward end seat kind of thing.
Just like looking at the wine like, what the hell is this? Alright, so you can go ahead and sit down. So actually he was talking to me about a proposal that he's interested in doing some changes in making our town better.
Is that so?
What kind of changes?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't paying too much attention. That pie was really good. The dessert.
I think that's offensive to all cheesecake lovers out there. I'm going to apologize on behalf of my friend Junior.
Jake is not a civilized person.
No.
This is
probably his first slice of cheesecake ever. Yeah.
Because I can't. Obviously, I can't.
Yeah, I thought there would be more cheese in it.
And I wanted to take leftovers home, but I knew that if I did, I'd be in bigger trouble.
I kind of wants to take Junior out to a super fancy restaurant.
So I'll just explain to them, what Vincent's told me.
I like the idea that you tell them what Jake's interpretation of what Vincent's, right? There's two different ways to roleplay. You can say that,
right,
or you can tell what's important to your character.
Changes tend to upset the ecosystem.
Yeah, but when they're for a good cause.
And who defines what good is? I've seen many good causes that history would say otherwise.
True. It's just trying to think of everything that he piled on.
Just tell him what Jake would say, right?
Well, he just wants me to make friends. Get to know people.
So the job with Calvin was specifically having to deal with Aurora.
Getting to do with and making friends, right?
You already have the friends. You don't need to tell him about more friends.
Well, everyone, expanding the network or
Jake,
whatever.
I think it's great that you are trying to make new friends. Really, it can be a very enriching thing.
Well, are you familiar with Aurora?
I believe that's putting
I
a
am.
face to it. Oh yeah, we've already established that
Can
you
I
have
put a
previous.
face to a name?
You may.
Try and figure out who this name is.
Yep. So roll with power.
Ooh.
Zoinks! Pretty much as expected. Roll a 4 on the dice with the fun result.
-1. So
You definitely
3.
Yeah. So you,
Aurora.
Aurora Borealis. You come off as very ignorant and almost offend Calvin further.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say as you're thinking about Aurora, you get a text message. And it's from Leold.
Reach into my pocket.
Yeah.
You can, sitting across from me, you can see one of my Glocks. I pull up my cell phone.
Leold says, we need to talk. New information has come up and I'm afraid you're not gonna like it. That's it.
I reply with a frowny face. And where?
He
Marcos?
he tells you, come back to the Coven.
Be there.
Or he writes back, go to the place where we last met.
Be there soon.
Okay.
Because we just talk in vague terms.
Yeah.
Because,
Supernaturals don't
Cell
trust
phones.
emails, text messages, etc.
Technology!
Kids these days. All right. Right. Continuing on.
So, familiar with Aurora?
Yeah, I've met her.
Why?
Dealt with her in the past.
Speaking of wild cards, because Aurora was actually fired from the university for what the university put as unauthorized and unaccredited practices.
Right.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
She's, not the most... Trying to think of a good term.
I just love that while you're thinking about that. I love that Calvin's like, stay away from Vincennes. And he's like, well, actually, Vincennes gave me a job to meet with Aurora. And you're like, stay the fuck away from Aurora.
Yeah, exactly. She's, not the most credentialed, wizard out there.
Well, I'm gonna go meet her. Wait, she has a job for me.
I mean, Jake, it's great that you're trying to make new friends, but maybe you should try to start with, like, co-workers and, places where you frequent.
I frequent the city often.
I'm like, we're all a bunch of bums.
This is Oliver trying to control you. A classic kind of exchange between you two, right?
Right. Well, Oliver,
Always guys in the form of advice.
Of course, yeah. But Jake also takes it, obviously, as some young pup trying to tell him how to live his life. That makes Jake angry, right?
a little bit, yeah. Well, Oliver, I handle my own business. Thank you. But I'm gonna go talk to Aurora. Calvin, I would like for you to come with me.
Are you going, like, now? Because I kind of have a lot of shit on my plate already.
I think I'm looking at my moves list, right? And it just says shit on
Calvin.
Sterling. Yeah. Sterling, your cell phone goes out.
I mean,
No,
you've
but it
got
will
debts
soon.
on me though too.
It will soon.
Yeah.
I do
I'm
have
sure.
debts on you. That's where I was actually going. I was just persuade you to come with me when the sooner the better.
So would that be persuade and that's nice.
That's NPC. He would be cashing in a debt.
Yeah.
Or just role playing it out. Like
Yeah.
Because you don't like her.
But
obviously.
cashing in a debt is the easiest way to get him to go
Right.
along right now.
Because I really don't necessarily want to go along.
Yeah.
I've got too much to deal with.
So basically, if you want him to go along tonight, which would benefit
better
your
be.
station, so you got a full week of work ahead.
That's true. I need to get.
Yeah, like your job.
Yeah.
What do you say? Let's go. Don't make me remind you about all those dirty little things I've had to pull you out of.
Dirty little things, huh? This sounds like a fun story.
Just hold on a minute.
Didn't you give him a debt last session?
I don't think so.
He has a debt over you, though, right?
Yeah, he has two debts.
Two
on me.
debts.
Oh, gotcha. Because you protect him, right? So
He protects
you.
me.
Yeah. So I guess
I'm cashing in
a little less
Yeah.
sexual, but yeah,
Yeah.
for all the
I was
times
like-
you've helped him
Help
out
you
of trouble.
Get out of trouble. Yes.
What time is it right now? Like,
So you guys had an appointment or had a reservation at 7:15. I'm gonna say that it's about 8:15. A good restaurant takes about an hour to kind of get near the end of the meal, stuff like that. That's why they ended. So I'm gonna say it's just past like 8:15 or so. You also see an alert in your calendar that says take Jess back to. Sorry, names escape me.
Abby?
Take Jess back to Abby's by 9:30.
Oh, gosh.
And you remember that Jess's car is still at the
It's still
club.
at the club.
So he just looks at his phone, and the camera just sees him say,
More fun.
Man, I'm gonna have to
refuse the debt.
refuse to honor a debt.
You're calling up a debt, right?
Right.
And so you're cashing in a debt to have a PC do a favor at a moderate cost. Yeah.
Because he's coming with me.
He
talk
has to give up his
Aurora.
time, which is he's swamped right now, to go with you and meet with Aurora. So you're refusing a debt, and that's the first time we've refused a debt. So to refuse a debt, roll with heart.
Okay. +0.
Oh Jesus!
I got a 7.
Okay, on a hit, you weasel out of the current deal, but you still owe the debt. On a 7 through 9, choose one. You owe him an additional debt. You lose face with his faction, or you mark corruption.
I'll mark corruption, I think.
Okay.
He's already got enough debts on me.
Everybody already has enough debts on you. It's the story of Calvin's life.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my 3rd corruption.
Calvin goes marching one by one. All right, so you can tell that he thinks about it long and hard, and once he pulls out his cell phone, this look on
That's
his
fine.
face says, "There's no way I can do it right now."
Okay.
So
I'm sure you can
you're
bring up.
refusing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure you can
go
bring
ahead
up your daughters.
Sorry, mate. I don't have the time tonight. I've got too much going on.
So I kind of like the idea too. This is a huge opportunity for you, right? You've had a pretty nasty weekend, much at the cost of your girlfriend's respect,
Yeah.
or at least admiration. He's refusing to honor a debt, and that's marking corruption mechanically.
Okay.
So I kind of like the idea that Jake gets mad at him, yells at him a little bit, so he can feel bad to where that corruption kind of makes sense, right? Where you make him feel like a worse person. So mechanically can inform our role playing, right? So to kind of feature and inform the scene,
Okay.
making him feel bad
Is it corruption?
is what would result in the mechanicals. So he just brought up his daughter. Oh man, I can't.
Okay. Yeah, but remember we helped her. You're doing this to me, and I went and helped your daughter.
How is Jess doing?
Oliver, stop. I'm asking here.
She's great. In fact,
I've got to get her home. Right now. So, if you'll excuse me, gentlemen, thank you for the dinner. I'm sorry.
Well, I hope you get in no more trouble. Don't call me.
And then I'm gonna slide out my chair and just, leave.
Bounce, yeah. Okay, so you take off, and
Jake?
On that note,
Dessert?
I'm also storming off. So I'm out of here too. Fine.
Fuck these guys. I'm
yeah.
gonna get
So the camera stays with Oliver for a few moments, and you're looking down at your cell phone, and there's this weird shifting in the air, and someone appears out of nowhere across from you. You know this person to be Arnie.
Arnie. Didn't see you there.
That is one of the benefits of being invisible. Now, for the audience, Arnie is a specter, and during the session moves, we had created Arnie, and he has a debt over Oliver for helping him discover betrayal within his company by some of the board members. So he is spying for you of sorts, trying to collect debts from a up-and-comer.
Arnie, I'd offer you something to drink, or perhaps eat, but,
No need. As you know, it's not really my style anymore. I have some information for you, but it does not come free. As you know, we, the Haunt, have been very active as of late, and we are expanding our efforts. We are working on a true network, and I have been following someone, this character that met with your friend Jake, and I eavesdropped
really?
on their conversation.
I caught a little bit, but was not able to make out all of it. I had a little bit of a discussion here as well.
As I saw, I'll tell you what, I don't need anything in return, I just need to know that you'll continue to appreciate my services, and if I ever need anything in return, I know who to call upon.
I reach over to where he's physically manifested, right? So he can interact.
He's visible and he can be heard. When specters manifest, they can be one of three things. They can be seen, they can be heard, or they can manipulate objects.
2 of 3.
Two of three.
They
I said
cannot
three
be
of three.
1 of 3.
Yeah, so they only get 2 of those 3. He is being seen and being heard.
Okay, so I reach over to where his hand would be to, pat it and just go right through.
Okay.
Arnie, I really do appreciate your services.
So mechanically, he is offering information in exchange for another debt.
Right, and
you're accepting?
Yeah.
Okay. So he tells you that Vincennes not only knows the location of Scarlet, but he has seemed to task Jake with a resolution of sorts. He says that Vincennes has been speaking with Aurora, and Aurora is working with the Beta.
Arnie, you're a wonderful person.
Don't insult me.
It's just wordplay, my friend.
Yes, well, that wordplay hasn't been playful in several years.
I can understand where a creature of your standing does not often want to exchange these kinds of pleasantries.
Well, if it's for a friend, what do we have to lose?
I do appreciate our friendship greatly, Arnie.
As do I. I'll see you soon about seeing to our friendship's details.
Enjoy your evening.
As do you. And he vanishes. The camera holds on Oliver, looking very thoughtful as we fade to black.
Oliver is not thoughtful. He takes the steak knife out of the table and just picks it up and just really rams it in.
Okay.
Because now he feels like his friends are crossing him. People that he really thought were friends.
Deal. So as the knife buries down into the plate, kind of spiderwebbing the plate, we're going to fade to black and call that an episode of Friends Like These. So, that is our session for this evening. We will be back next week with more content. If you haven't, please take a look at our Patreon. I'll throw a link in the top right. If you're enjoying what we do and want to support us and continue to see more content like this, think about supporting us. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. We'll see you again next week. This game is so good!
I like Arnie.
I love this game.
I like
Oh man.
having a spy sounds fantastic. Because I don't have a lot of friends like that, so.
I was sweating bullets,
You
man.
got more friends like these.
Yeah.